What's up, guys? Welcome back to the joint. Tonight it's guitars. Alright, guys, so we're standing here at the workbench tonight in the joint. Excuse me, I don't have a pipe lid or anything like that because it's not what we're doing here tonight. Tonight, we're looking at some upgrades I recently made to my Strat and why they're really good ones. So what I've got is, well, let's just transition here to a better shot. Okay, guys, so what we have here is what I would consider probably the best Strat in the entire world, the best one ever made, at least in whatever year this is. I think it's like a 2006, something like that. But let me just show you the reason why this one is extra special. So if you look here at the serial number, you will notice it is MX11169690. Yes, you heard that correctly. It's got the funniest number on the internet as the serial number. Kind of hard to forget that. But anyway, all kidding aside, so what we have here is a Mexican-made Stratocaster. And this guitar I really like. The main problem that I've had with it is that a while back it fell, and here's the old bridge. What happened is it fell and it hit right here on the tremolo arm, and it stripped out the inside of the block. So ever since then, the tremolo arm has just been kind of weird and wonky, and I've been looking and thinking about replacing the bridge, and I finally got around to it. So you can see this has the old style Fender bridge with the folded saddles. Really, there's nothing wrong with this bridge. It's just that eventually, you know, this metal isn't the hardest stuff out there. Eventually it's gonna strip out. So that's what happened to me. And you know, I was making do, but I just decided it was time. So something that I kind of had a feeling, but I didn't know for sure, is that Mexican Strats with the 6-screw mounting and other Strats with the 6-screw mounting holes, they're a little bit differently spaced, so you got to be careful what you order. I ordered one off of Guitar Center, and they didn't offer any measurements whatsoever on the website, so I went ahead and ordered it. And of course, guess what? Didn't fit. So I took it back. That was like 96 bucks. The thing you got to be careful for is like I said, that spacing. Now let me show you this one. So right here, what we have is a Wilkinson tremolo bridge, and it's got the 6-screw spacing, but I don't know if you're going to be able to notice this. But if you notice, you can sort of see the hole under there. So this hole right here is a standard hole, and the rest of these are slotted, meaning they're oblong. So what that means is you can put this on pretty much any Strat, and it'll fit. And that is exactly what happened here. You can see right here, there's a little bit of the hole sticking out, and that would mean that would fit a Strat with spacings that are just a little bit wider than this one. So it's kind of a nice thing. So this is a Wilkinson WVP6, Whiskey Victor Papa 6. And it's got this nice solid metal plate. It's got these nice solid saddles, and it has a nice zinc block underneath it. I don't think it's quite as big, but they make these to fit all Strats. Like, I think you could put this on a Squire even. I think that the block is a little bit shorter so that it'll fit. So some of the things that I really like about this, opposed to the standard one, is that the tremolo arm, you have to thread it in and out, meaning to put it in, you twist it in and then you twist it out. And sometimes it can be a little long-winded, hard to get out when you're putting it in the case, or, you know, I don't know, just getting it in the right spot and getting it to stay there. The way that this one works I really like. So it's got underneath here, there's an Allen screw, a hex screw or a set screw that you tighten down to get the right tension on it. That way when you turn it, it holds in the right spot, but then it also just pulls out. It doesn't thread in. As you can see, there's no threading. You just push it in as deep as you want to go.
That's what she said.
And then you can use the tremolo. It's nice and tight. There's no play. No matter where you put it, it's nice and tight. There's no play. It's really a pretty nice system. Especially the fact that it fits multiple Stratocasters. That's important. And then I also really do kind of like these solid saddles as opposed to the folded ones on the original. I mean, it looks good, and I suppose that's what a Stratocaster is supposed to look like, but it just kind of looks, I don't know, it just kind of looks very unfinished in my opinion. I like the way that these look. Let me just kind of get a shot farther back. So that's kind of nice. The kit itself comes with new springs, comes with new screws, comes with a new cleat to put in the backside to hold the springs, comes with the Allen wrench to, or the hex wrench to tighten down the set screw here. It comes with basically everything you need. So if you have a Strat that's got a screwed up tremolo arm or a screwed up bridge or something like that, it's really a pretty good option. You know, the action height adjustment is all the same. The intonation adjustment here is all the same. So like none of that stuff is really any different. The main thing that I like is that the tremolo arm, or the vibrato arm, whatever you want to call it, just pushes right in there, and then when you put it in the case, you just pull it right out. So that's the first thing that I did, and I'm really, really happy with this bridge. I am just ecstatic about this bridge. I mean, this guitar here is probably one of my favorites. You probably can't tell by how dirty it is, but I really love this guitar, and this has annoyed me for about 1.5 years with this guitar, and now I finally have taken care of it and given it a nice upgrade. Now the second thing that I did is up here at the machine heads. Now these typically come with just, you know, standard machine heads. Let me get back into the light here. I'm going to show you what these guys look like. So they come with standard tuners that look like this. So, you know, the tuner, this sticks up through the headstock, and then that's where your string goes through, and then you turn this little peg. Now, what you'll notice different about this, let me flip this guy over, center down here, is we've got a knob here on the bottom now. And what this knob does, you screw this in or out, basically, you know, whether you're putting the string in or taking it out. You flip it back over, and what it does is that it clamps the string in. So here, if I can get the camera to focus, it clamps the string in, that way you don't have any winds around the top of the machine head here. So if you'll notice, it just kind of goes in, comes through, comes back out. There's not a coil up here. What that does, the problem with a tremolo system or a vibrato system is that when you give it any kind of a, you know, a wiggle here, the tension inside of these coils changes when you do that, especially if you like dive bomb it. You get tension adjustment here, so that when you come back to normal over here, all of a sudden your whole guitar is out of tune. Now the thing that I really love about having a locking tuner up here is that I can actually use my vibrato a little bit. You know, I don't dive bomb, I'm not Steve Vai, but you can use it a little bit, and you have a lot more tuning stability. And you know, the thing that I have noticed too, sometimes it will go out a little bit, but what I like to do is I like to keep my bridge floating just a little bit. You'll notice, I don't know if you can see that, it's not all the way down on the deck, which means I can just kind of give it a quick tug up, and it'll reset the tension the whole way up, and most of the time it knocks it back into tune, which is a really good thing, especially if you're using it. And when I play this guitar, I do like to use my vibrato just a little bit, or the tremolo, whatever you want to call it. It's actually more of a vibrato, but Fender calls it a tremolo system, so, you know, that's just what it is. Now that I've got fingerprints all over my nice guitar here.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Okay, guys, so you gotta forgive the headphones. I gotta do this, that way I don't get a whole bunch of cross-contamination between the audios. But so all I'm gonna do is just give it a quick play, just so that you can kind of get an idea for how this thing sounds and how it works. Again, it's got the locking tuners, which is nice because you can do something. Turn that down just a little bit. There we go. So, alright, so here we are. I'm not the most spectacular guitar player there ever was, but I just kind of want to give you an idea of how this thing sounds on this guitar, and as well as how well the locking machine heads or locking tuners perform. Because really and truly, this is up to this guitar. This has made this guitar... The bridge probably reduced the value of the guitar because it's not original, but it made it, it made it better to play, in my opinion. Just in the fact that I can put the arm up and it'll stay up. I can put it down and it'll stay down. And I can spin it all around and it doesn't matter. It's not going to screw down too far or screw out and fall out. You know, if I want to pull it out, I just take it out. So I really like this bridge. So... well, let me just quickly like the nice thing I like about this is it feels a lot like the original, and you can get a little bit of and you can use it, and it doesn't really knock the tuning out all that much, as you probably can notice. You know, this really isn't knocking out at all, and I probably could dive bomb it. It doesn't sound that bad, but like I said, if it goes too far out, you just give it a quick tug, like that. So, you know, I really like the way that this whole system is set up. And like, as far as the sustain and all of that stuff and the way the guitar sounds, you know, I don't really notice a huge difference from the way that it sounded before to the way that it sounds now. The only thing that I notice is how much better it plays and how much more tuning stability I have, which is always a plus with a Stratocaster with a tremolo arm. let's stop the looper. Now that I've been doing some heavy dive bombing, let's just hit a nice open G. See how in tune it still is or is not. It's pretty far out of tune. Okay, now watch what happens when I just give it a quick tug. It knocks it back in tune just like that. You don't have to mess with the tuning. You don't have to mess with anything. You just give it a quick tug, resets the tuning, the tension on the strings to be pretty much right back where it should be, and you keep going. If you're playing a show, you do some heavy dive bombing, you notice it's out of tune, you just give it a quick tug. That's what I really love about having a floating bridge setup, and that's what I really love about having these locking tuners on here, because it worked before with the coils, just not as well. Like this here, it pretty much pulls it right back into tune completely, which is nice. Let's try doing some more dive bombing. Let's just go pull the tremolo arm out so my fingers aren't hitting the knobs. All right, let's do this. Okay, now if I just hit a nice G, you're gonna notice it's way out of tune. Not too far out of tune, but it's out. It's noticeably out. And now it's not near as noticeably out. As a matter of fact, it's not that far out at all. So, take it for what you will. Being that a lot of people out there have Mexican Strats, and at some point or another, if you take your guitar on the road or you play with it, or even if it gets knocked over at the house, that tremolo arm is eventually going to strip out. It's just the fact of life. And when you go to replace the whole bridge, because that happens, you're going to have a really hard time finding one, especially a Fender one. I could not find a replacement straight up bridge for this. I couldn't even find a block that fit it. Everything was made for the guitars that have a little bit wider of a spacing for these screws. So something to be careful of, but if you're willing to switch it out and go with a third party bridge, this Wilkinson WVP6, I think that's right, is really a great option. Like, I like it a lot. And these Fender locking tuners, I think you could get them on Sweetwater right now for like $50. That right there is a no-brainer, dude. It's a no-brainer. You don't even think about it. If you have a Stratocaster, get them. So, anyway, I think I'm gonna beat on this old guy for a little while and let you guys get back to whatever it is you guys were doing. So until next time, right here in the joint, we'll see you guys later.